So now we have starting this new program on nano materials and its industrial applications, and focusing on converting the waste to treasure, waste to nano products.
Okay.
Now this requires that first the participants get sufficient knowledge about nanoscience. Nanoscience, not technology yet.
Yes.
What is nanoscience? What are the intricacies of these areas, fields? What are the saline points there? And then once that information is available, then we go to the next stage, which is the making these nanomaterials. That is extremely crucial. For any application, you need to have the right nanomaterial. So the user need to have a command over the synthesis of the nanomaterial. There are well-established protocols for developing different nanomaterials, and there are no two protocols are identical. Like for example, if you want to make nanoparticles of metals, it is going to be completely different from metal oxides or metal sulfide nanoparticles, or making quantum dots or semiconductor nanoparticles. All the protocols are all different, and they are very, very specific and extremely structured. So this has to be provided to the participants, and that's what we will do in the course.
Yes.
After they get the basic information, the synthesis protocols will be explained to them, and then how it can be done in the normal conditions in the laboratory, and what are the precautions and special care one should take while synthesizing these materials. The third part is the characterization. Once you have made the nanomaterial, how do you know that you have made a nanomaterial?
Yes.
Okay. So that's where there has to be routine characterization protocol again.
Okay.
So there is well-established characterization methods, and we will discuss all those things in the program, keeping in mind the requirements the regulating bodies also have imposed. There are already certain requirements of the regulatory bodies which are available in the public domain, and they say the nanomaterial must have these properties for it to be applicable to these fields, for like agriculture, food, etc. etc.
Yes.
So keeping these two things together, so characterization has to be done in a very systematic manner. Okay, and a complete characterization is required. And after the characterization is over, the user now knows that the synthesis I know, a characterization I know. I am convinced now that my material is a nanomaterial. That completes the second part of it. Now we start the third most important part, going to its application, like we say waste to nanomaterial or waste to treasure.
Yes.
See, we do not realize that in our day-to-day activities, there is a lot of waste that we generate.
Definitely.
Okay, and most of it we just throw it away because we think this is basically garbage. Now, using very simple methods and technology, and with a background that is already available, it's not difficult to convert many of these waste materials into very, very high-end nanomaterials. For instance, one can see this is the time in Delhi where there is there's a lot of noise about pollution coming from burning of agricultural waste in the agricultural fields in the nearby states, all these things. The simple solution to this can be this rice straw or the whatever husk or agricultural waste that is there in the field, which the farmers normally burn. That can be converted very nicely to a nanocellulose product. A nanocellulose has got huge amount of application in textiles, in packaging industry, even in making electronic products and base matrix material. And that is not very rocket science. It can be done very trivially in any laboratory or any industrial setup. And after a proper characterization, the nanomaterial is there for you to use. Okay, so there are many examples like this. For instance, digital waste. We are all using computers, laptops, mail systems, memory devices, cameras indiscriminately every day. And all these devices require the energy source, which is the battery. The battery has a finite life.
Yes.
You throw it away after it's used, like you take the remote of an AC. There are
Yes.
two pencil shells and you wash for 1 month, 2 months, then you just take it away, throw it away. But realize that alkaline battery that you have thrown away, if it is processed, it can give you a high-end product like zinc oxide or magnesium oxide. And magnesium oxide and zinc oxide, if properly purified and made into nanoform, is a very high-end product. Zinc oxide used in many medical formulations, personal care products. Also, zinc oxide is an excellent fertilizer for plants.
Okay.
And one battery which you have thrown away, and it's a zero cost actually, you procure it. It can give you several grams of zinc oxide if it's processed properly. And if you look at the catalog of the reliable suppliers of zinc oxide nanomaterials in the world, 1 gram costs something like 20,000-30,000 rupees.
Oh my
of
God.
zinc oxide, and which you have thrown away. So these are the examples of waste to treasure can be converted and can be adopted in our day-to-day life or by the industry to reduce pollution, because they are all polluting objects. Once you have used a battery, throw it away, it will go to landfill, decay, and all the chemicals spread and they contaminate our soil and water. So that is also eliminated. You have made a high-end product which can be used in agriculture, and it is about its own benefits. So likewise, you have several of examples, unlimited examples of waste to product conversion. But right now, what's happening, unfortunately, is there's no attention being paid to this.
Yes. That
Okay,
is very important.
because no one is making an initiative. Once the initiative starts, others will follow, and you will see there will be a floodgate in this area. Okay, so this is where the training program is going to be useful, because once the user knows or the participant knows that I can convert this waste to a product, and waste I am getting almost free, I am not paying anything for it, and I can convert it into a useful nanomaterial, then I will be able to make a business out of it very easily. Even for existing industries which are making batteries, you collect the batteries, put the collection boxes all over the city, and you say you throw a battery, I'll give you 1 rupee. And each will throw it away. You say, okay, if you give 1 rupee, it's good for me. I'll throw it, I'll give it to you. Collect them,
Definitely.
process them, make beautiful nano product from there, and you sell to market. Okay. Similarly, there are so many. I can list you many different examples. Carbon dots, for example, are beautiful photo mixed materials which can be used in display and sensors and for making other optoelectronic devices. And this can be made from the agricultural waste, like the kitchen waste, like banana peel or apple peel and other things. They can be converted into beautiful quantum dots, carbon quantum dots, and they've got a huge amount of optoelectronic applications. And cheap to convert, it's not required very high technology. And once you optimize it, it's a basically routine process of doing it. Now, another area where we need to have much focus is the energy industry. Now, see, the conventional energy source now is our lithium-ion battery. Lithium-ion battery has reached its technological limit. We cannot stretch it beyond, because all our devices now are basically lithium-ion battery devices. Now, to enhance it, people are already going into new material development. New material, you will be surprised to know the rare earths are actually a class of materials, about 10 elements in the periodic table, which have got very specific properties, very beautiful properties for developing energy devices, memories from there, and make very smart energy storage systems. And now 80% of the rare earth materials are being controlled by China. It all comes from China.
Okay.
Many other countries mine this material, but they cannot process it. They send it to China. China processes it and sends it back to them. This is the current state of affairs in this thing. And these materials will make very high-end batteries, memory system for computers, laptops, mobiles, etc. And you'll be surprised to know this the rare earth materials can be extracted from the waste of thermal power plants, which they throw away as fly ash.
Yeah.
They don't know where to throw it. It is just so much of fly ash that gets
Yes.
accumulated. So reprocessing of fly ash can give rise to these materials, high-end rare earth materials, which can be used for these high-end products, the high-end sensors, amplifiers, the military technology, and all these things. And no one is going to give it to us. We have to develop all these things ourselves.
I mean, it's a
Okay.
commendable job, seriously.
Yeah. So this is all these things available, but the question is there is lack of information. There is a knowledge gap there. So knowledge gap has to be bridged, and that is the whole objective of this course. From a completely ignorant person to a semi-informed person, all together, all of them can be guided or mentored into a platform where they realize that this potential exists, and these are the ways of doing it, and this can be done. So why not do it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.